Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 18th March 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. If this is your first visit to our channel, you can access all the training lessons at our channel homepage by clicking the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community. You click on the tab, you get into this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into Supply Demand Zone Price Action Course YouTube playlist. I kept all the training lessons in this playlist. You just scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions mentioned at our Telegram channel. I provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. So please join at our Telegram channel. At the top of the Telegram channel window, you can find pinned messages. And go to the pinned messages. One of the messages in the pinned messages describes the training instructions. So learn this course according to those training instructions. Then you will become a very good independent trader in the coming months. So please make use of this opportunity. Now I am going to generate supply demand zone reports with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. Okay, let me start with yearly time frame. First, I will find the stocks where price closed inside the yearly demand zone. So 4 stocks are filtered. I'm giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So I request you pause the video, study the report. After that you move on to the next reports. Those who does not understand the structure of this report, I request you complete the training lesson 21.1, that is part 1 of lesson 21. In that video I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, price closed inside the yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame is half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, stocks near half yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half-yearly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Okay, next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. We got 4 stocks. Next, stocks near quarterly supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. So multiple stocks we got. First 22 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 37 stocks are filtered. Price closed inside quarterly demand zone. We can further filter this list based on the quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. So let's filter. So I'm going back in the EMA Confluence parameter at quarterly time frame. I'm selecting the option quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. And also when you select EMA Confluence, a trend should not be sideways. So that's why in the trend at quarterly time frame, I'm selecting up or down, but not sideways. So with these filters, the list is come down to 19 stocks. So these 19 stocks, the quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA confluence, and also the current price closed inside these quarterly demand zones. So this is about quarterly time frame demand zones. Next, quarterly time frame, price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 4 stocks. Let's verify out of these 4 how many quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA confluence. So I'm selecting quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence, and trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. We got 3 stocks out of 4, 3 are filtered. So that means all the 3 quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA confluence, and also current price closed inside those quarterly supply zones. Okay, this is about quarterly time frame. Next time frame is a monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. We got 3 stocks. Next, monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. First 19 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 43 stocks are filtered. Now let us verify out of these 43 how many are having monthly demand zones with monthly EMA confluence. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence at monthly time frame. Let us verify monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, and trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, the list is come down to 22 stocks. So first 21 stocks in the list. See, NIFTY also inside the monthly demand zone, and this monthly demand zone is having monthly EMA confluence. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 22 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 17 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 17 stocks are filtered. Okay, next, we can further filter based on the monthly supply zone having monthly EMA confluence. In monthly time frame, I am selecting supply zone having monthly EMA confluence, and trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now the list is come down to 8 stocks. These 8 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence, and also current price closed inside those monthly supply zones. So this is about monthly time frame. Next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone. We got 18 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks. Okay, next. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got a big list. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 30 stocks are filtered. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We can further filter this list based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence at weekly. I'm selecting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. And trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, we got only 3 stocks. So these 3 weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. And also current price closed inside these weekly demand zones. Okay, next. Weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. We got a big list. First 16 stocks in the list. So Nifty is inside the weekly supply zone now. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 45 stocks are filtered. Now we can further filter this list based on weekly supply zones having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at weekly, I'm selecting weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. And trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, now the list is come down to 20 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 20 stocks are filtered. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone, and those weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Okay, this is about weekly time frame. The next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. We got 4 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones, if any. It is a pierced zone, not valid for our HLQ zone strategy. So we got 4 stocks, but none of them are having a valid high liquidity daily demand zones. Okay, next. For daily time frame, let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. We got 23 stocks. It's a big list. Let us identify daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Crompton is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Granules is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Kalyani Jewellers is having a daily high liquidity supply zone and is also having high liquidity demand zone. Next, L&T is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Next, MFSL is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Scrolling the list down. NMDC is not valid, it is a pierced zone. Next, we have PI Industries is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Supreme Industries is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. So that's it. We have identified 7 daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay. Next, daily time frame, price closed inside the daily demand zone. We got 18 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks are filtered. Now let's verify out of these 18 how many are having daily demand zones with daily EMA Confluence. The EMA Confluence at daily time frame, I am selecting daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. And trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, out of 18 stocks, 7 stocks are filtered. And in all these 7 stocks, these daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence. And also current price closed inside these daily demand zones. Okay, next, daily time frame, price closed inside the daily supply zone. We got a big list. So first 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 87 stocks are filtered. Out of these 87, how many daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence? So let's verify. So I'm going back. In the EMA Confluence at daily time frame, I'm selecting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. And trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, now the list is come down to 43 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So these 43 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence. And also current price closed inside those daily supply zones. Okay, this is about the daily time frame. The next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Next, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 20 stocks are filtered. Stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Let us check any high liquidity demand zones. No, we don't have any 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. I think diary also we didn't have any high liquidity demand zones. Only supply zones only. Short trades only you should plan. Okay, next, for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. So we got 16 stocks. So let us identify high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. ABFRL is having high liquidity 75 minutes supply zone. Indus tower is invalid because it is a pierced zone. We can't use it for high liquidity zone strategy. Next, second one is MRF. And the third one is Ramco Cement. And the fourth one is Titagar. Maybe it is a newly added stock. Need some time for me to memorize this symbol name. So total 4 high liquidity 75 minutes supply zones identified from this list. Okay. So with this we have completed a daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zone identification. So next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 14 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 3 stocks. Let's check any of these demand zones are having ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I'm enabling the filter. So we got 1 stock. Okay. Next, for 15 minutes time frame, stocks near 15 minutes supply zone, we got 7 stocks. Let us verify how many of these stocks are having ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. Enable the filter. We got 2 stocks. That means these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. That is what zone confluence. Okay, next time frame is the 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Let us verify how many of these zones are having ITF confluence. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. Enable the filter. So we got 4 stocks. These 4 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Next, for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minutes supply zone, we got 7 stocks. Let us verify how many of these 7 5 minute supply zones are having 15 minute supply zone confluence. So I'm enabling the filter 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. So we got 4 stocks. You can ignore the 4th one, it is a pierced zone. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Next we will look into NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain, starting with NIFTY. And from the monthly time frame, I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. In all the supply demand zone chain reports, always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. And look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. And always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. So please apply the same rules for the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 125-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 75-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Sixteenth is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Next, 25-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. (22) is the nearest demand zone and 21 is the nearest supply zone to the current closing price. So let me put it in the center. Okay, next, 15-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All are supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. (36th is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. So let me adjust in the middle. Okay, next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So all are supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. And 60 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. So let me keep it in the middle. Okay. So this is about Nifty 5-minute supply demand zone chain. With this we have completed Nifty. Next we will generate Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Nifty Bank is nothing but Bank Nifty. So generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125 minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75 minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Okay, next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Okay, next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Let me adjust in the middle. Okay, next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Number 30 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, and 29 is the nearest supply zone to the closing price in Bank Nifty. So let me put them in the center. Okay. So this is a 5 minutes Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So with this we have completed Bank Nifty also. So that means we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next we will look into bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. For monthly income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at daily I am selecting bullish, and zone achievement should always be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should always be 12. So with these filters, we got 6 stocks. So these 6 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And all these entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Because bullish trade setup, we should look into the demand zones for the trade planning. Supply zone is only target. So 6 stocks. Out of the 6, there could be some high probability trade setup supported daily demand zones might be available. How to filter? We can filter based on the zone confluence. The daily zone can be part of the weekly zone, or daily and weekly together can be part of the monthly zone. So these 2 strategies, let us filter by applying these strategies. So first, daily and weekly demand zone confluence, that is LTF, ITF, demand zone confluence. So daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, out of 6, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. And the weekly trend is uptrend in all the stocks. If weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence, then the daily demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success because they are overlapped with weekly zone. And also the weekly zone having weekly EMA confluence. Let's verify. So in the EMA confluence filter, at weekly time frame because daily is overlapped with weekly. So we are looking for weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. Anyway, weekly trend is up in all the stocks. It is a bullish trade setup. So we got one stock. So ICICI Bank is having even more high probability to get the success. It is only probability. You should understand that point. Okay. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. That is daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence supported stocks. I am removing this ITF EMA filter. And in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter, daily with weekly demand zone confluence, is already enabled. Next, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. Weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. So this is a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, we will look into bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. So entry time frame is daily. Entry zone should be supply zone. And also in bullish or bearish trade setup at daily time frame, we have to select bearish. And zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and hands score should be 12. With these filters, we got 4 stocks. So these 4 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. And all these entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. We have 4 daily supply zones. Out of these 4 daily supply zones, how many are having even more high probability to get success? So as usual, first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is a daily and weekly supply zone confluence. Sorry, this is demand zone confluence. So you should look into supply zone confluence by setting the filter daily supply zone having weekly supply zone confluence. So I enable the filter. With this filter, out of 4 stocks, we got all the 4 stocks. That means in all these 4 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zones. All these daily supply zones overlapped with weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is a downtrend in all these stocks, bearish trade setup. So that's why if weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, because the daily is part of the weekly supply zone, daily supply zone is part of weekly supply zone. So that's why we will look into weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, I am selecting the filter, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. So we got 3 stocks. So these 3 stocks are having even more high probability to get the success. These 3 weekly supply zones. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That is daily, weekly and monthly supply zone confluence supported stocks. Remove EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly. Next, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, this daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. That means all are part of monthly. But monthly trend is sideways. Sideways, you should not look for monthly supply zone with monthly EMA confluence. It does not give any advantage. That means sideways trend, EMA confluence should not be used. Okay, this is about a bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, we will look into weekly income trade bullish and bearish trade setups. So weekly income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone demand zone, in bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame. I'm selecting bullish. Entry zone is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score should be 12. And also one more filter, 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. Daily we allowed because daily should support pierced zone strategy. But 75 minutes time onwards, pierced zone strategies are not very strong unless 75 minutes zone is a high liquidity zone. So in the pierced count, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0 for the 75 minutes demand zone. If pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. Simple. Let's filter. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 75 minutes demand zones are currently supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Okay, we can further filter based on high probability setup supported stocks. First is LTF ITF supply zone confluence. LTF ITF demand zone confluence, because it is bullish trade setup. Bullish trade setup, always you have to use demand zones. LTF ITF demand zone confluence, that is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. So I am enabling the filter. We got 2 stocks out of 4. So these 2 daily demand zones are having zone confluence, these 2 75 minutes demand zones. And also the trend is, ITF trend is up. That means daily trend is up. If any of these daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, then the 75 minute zones might be having even more high probability to get success, because 75 minute zone is overlapped with daily zone. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I'm checking daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Inside the daily, we have our entry time frame zone, 75 minutes demand zone. So one stock is filtered. So that means this 75 minutes demand zone is having even more high probability to get success. Okay, this is about LTF ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Remove EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Next, 75 minutes with weekly demand zone confluence. Next, daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 1 stock. That means this 75 minutes demand zone is overlapped with daily demand zone. Both together again overlapped with the weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up. So if weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, then this 75 minutes demand zone is having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify if weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. The EMA at weekly, I'm checking weekly demand zone having weekly. Anyway, trend is uptrend, but the stock is not filtered. It is not having weekly demand zone with weekly EMA confluence. It is not having. So this is bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhanced score 12. And 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 17 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 17. All these 17 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. That means entry time frame zones are 75-minute supply zones. Now we need to look for the high probability supported 75-minute supply zones. So the first filter is based on LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Let's verify. So in the supply zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 75-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With this filter, out of the 17 stocks, we got 14 stocks. In all these 14 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down in all these stocks, ITF trend, because it is bearish trade setup. So that's why if daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence and 75-minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone, so obviously that 75-minute supply zone will be having more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I'm setting the filter. Daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence and trend is down because it is a downtrend. Bearish trade setup is a downtrend. Okay, we got 6 stocks. On all these 6 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone, and that daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence. So these 6 stocks might be having even more high probability to get the success. Okay. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly supply zone confluence supported stocks. Remove EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. 75 with daily supply zone confluence. Next 75-minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 7 stocks. In these 7 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. Again, both together are overlapped with weekly supply zone. And weekly trend is down in all the stocks except 2 stocks, 4th one and 6th one. So the remaining stocks, if weekly supply zone is having weekly EMA confluence, then the 75-minute supply zones might be having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. So in the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, because 75-minute zone together with daily zone overlapped with weekly zone. That's why we are looking for weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. At the same time, the weekly trend should not be sideways. So that's why I'm checking the trend as downtrend, because it is bearish trade setup. Now we got 3 stocks. So these 3 75-minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get success. So this is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, we will look into daily income trade reports, bullish and bearish trade setups. Daily income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame is 15 minutes, entry zone is demand zone, and also bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame. I am selecting bullish, and zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd and enhanced score is 12, and also 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I I'm selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So with these filters, we got 7 stocks. All these 7 stocks are supporting bearish trades, all these 7 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And the entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. All these are all 15 minutes demand zones. And they are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Out of these 7 15 minutes demand zone, how many are having even more high probability to get success? That we can identify based on this zone confluence. First filter is a 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. So this is the filter I am enabling, demand zone confluence. So with this filter, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in all these stocks. If 75 minutes demand zone is having daily EMA confluence, then those 15 minutes demand zones are having more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Anyway, trend is uptrend, 75 minutes trend. So we got all the 4 stocks. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 15 minutes demand zones are having even more high probability to get success. Okay. Next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, 15 minutes with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. Next filter is 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Next 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. So in these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in only one stock. If this daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence, then this 15 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be only uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. Let's filter. So we got that stock. So this stock is having even more high probability to get the success. So this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes. I'm selecting bearish. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhance score 12. And 15 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I'm selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So with these filters, we got 7 stocks. So these 7 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And the entry time frame zones are 15 minutes supply zones. All these are all 15 minutes supply zones. Out of these 7 15-minute supply zones, how many are having even more high probability to get success? That we can identify based on this zone confluence. If 15-minute supply zone is overlapped with 75-minute supply zone, so the order flows will be much stronger. So let's verify. Let's filter based on that. So in the supply zone confluence, I'm enabling the filter 15-minute supply zone having confluence with 75-minute supply zone. So with this filter, we got all 7 stocks. So that means all these 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. And moreover, the 75-minute trend, ITF trend, is a downtrend. So that's why if 75-minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, then those 15-minute supply zones might be having even more high probability to get success because they are overlapped with the 75-minute supply zone. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I'm setting the filter 75-minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Anyway, trend is a downtrend. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. So these two 15-minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success, because these two 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. And that 75-minute supply zone is having daily EMA confluence. Okay, next we will filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. So removing EMA filter, in the supply zone confluence we should set 3 filters. So first filter is already enabled, that is 15 minutes with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. Next 15-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence, 75-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. So in these 3 stocks, these 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with the daily supply zone. And also daily trend is down in all the 3 stocks. So if any of these daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, then those 15-minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get success because they are part of daily supply zone, and that daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence. That's why they will be having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify how many are having EMA confluence and daily time frame. The daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Anyway, trend is down, daily trend. So let's filter. We got 2 stocks out of 3. So these 3 15-minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get success because they are part of daily zone, and the daily zone having daily EMA confluence. So this is bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Next we will look into hourly income trade, bullish and bearish trade setups. Hourly income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone is demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes, I am selecting bullish. And the zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score is 12. And the 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value I am setting 0, maximum value 0. With all the 3 filters applied to the 5 minutes demand zone, we got 18 stocks. All these 18 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Hourly income trade. Bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. So this is Nifty 50. 5 minutes demand zone, high liquidity demand zone. And this demand zone supports bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Okay. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks are filtered. Out of these 18, let us identify how many of these 5 minutes demand zones are having 15 minutes demand zone confluence. That is LTF, ITF, demand zone confluence supported stocks. So in the demand zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. With this filter, we got 14 stocks. Okay. Out of these 14, we can further filter based on how many of these 15 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, because 15 minutes trend is up in all the stocks, and also 5 minute zone is overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. So in the EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame, I am checking if 15 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence, because 5 minutes demand zone overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. So we got one stock. Probably this demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. It is only a probability game. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Next 5 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. Similarly, 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 4 stocks. That means this 5 minutes demand zone overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Both together overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. But 75 minutes trend is up in only one stock. Let us check if this stock 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA, then this 5 minutes demand zone could be having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. The EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, we are checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence, and also trend at the 75 minutes time frame should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So we did not get any stocks having EMA confluence. Okay, this is a LTF, ITF demand zone confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. Sorry, this is LTF, ITF, HTF only. So this is a bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next we should look into bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. So entry time frame 5 minutes, entry is on supply zone and also bullish bearish trade setup at 5 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhancer score 12. And pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So with all the 3 filters applied on the 5 minute supply zone, we got 4 stocks. That means we have only 4 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade, and all these entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. Okay. Out of these 4 5 minute supply zones, let us further filter based on how many are having ITF supply zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence supported stocks. So here I am enabling that filter 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. Out of 4, all 4 are filtered. That means in all these 4 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. And 15 minutes trend is down in all these stocks. Let's verify if any of these 15 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. If that is the case, then these 5 minute supply zones might be having even more high probability to get success. So EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting 15-minute supply zone is having daily EMA confluence. So none of them are having daily EMA confluence. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That is 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence supported stocks. I removed EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 5-minute supply zone with 75-minute supply zone confluence. 15-minute supply zone with 75-minute supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 5-minute supply zones are overlapped with 15-minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with the 75-minute supply zone. And the 75-minute trend is down in only one stock. If this stock is having zone confluence, EMA confluence, then it might be having more high probability to get success for this 5-minute supply zone. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, at 75 minutes time frame, we are checking 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence, and the trend should be at 75 minutes time frame downtrend but not sideways. So with these filters, we did not get any stocks. So this is about the bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. With this, we have completed all the income trades, and in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I'm scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.